welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
All right, hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy Wednesday. Good to see y'all here. We got AB here saying just kind of a heads up that Kev, I've been keeping track. You still got to do your punishment from last Tuesday for Do It Bitch, which was I believe is the Moonshine with a little bit of fish juice in it. Do we have any of that fish paste left, Virginia?
I think we do, sir. Would you like some?
Yeah, gotta do that. You're right. I got to this part and didn't focus on it, but a punishment is punishment. If you lose, you lose.
Moonshine, living in the movies. That's right. All right.
I wonder what a drunk on moonshine would feel like. How do you feel the next day after you got a little shit on a moonshine?
The witch brought over, the real stuff, the stuff you're not supposed to bring over the state line in the jar with the odd-looking bag on top of it.
Yeah.
And I got pretty fucked up, and I got to tell you, I was ready for round 2 the next day.
Really got up? Okay, because it's a clear alcohol, and I try to stick with the clears because that's supposed to be the game of them, is that, with the colored alcohols, that tends to give you a bigger headache and more of a hangover than the clear stuff.
I don't think you brought that BAM, that bitch-ass moonshine. I think you brought the real stuff, right, V?
Oh, no, we brought the strongest stuff.
Yeah.
This is the strong stuff.
So
Okay.
I'm saying, with that time you brought over that weird jug, that was real shit.
Oh, yeah, that was real.
Okay. All right.
She wasn't scared of no state line, Kev.
No, she's not scared. No, I appreciate that.
Are you allowed to make moonshine in that state, or do they frown upon that as well?
I'm not sure how it goes. When we talked...
You're not allowed to make moonshine in any state.
Got ya.
You're not allowed to do that. That's an illegal thing.
Yeah, I would think. I don't know. You can make your own beer at home. And I know when we had talked to Bob from Sugar Tip Moonshine up there in South Carolina, he had gotten himself a license to do it. And it's odd that it used to be so demonized, and now
If you have a license, you can do it.
Well, that's
Yeah.
probably it's kind of like weed. If you have a bunch of weed in your car and it looks like you're selling it, that's when you have a problem. If you're smoking it, you're like, all right, they're just getting high. But if it looks like you're making a profit, and you're not telling Uncle Sam about it.
They
With
want their
moonshine,
cut.
can you make your own supply if you just had enough for home use?
That's a great question.
Does anybody interfere with that?
I think just having the still, you're not allowed to do that
Okay.
without it being regulated and controlled by the government.
What if I wanted to make my own booze? Because, a lot of people can ferment stuff. I mean, people in jail make their own booze by just taking fruit, put it in a bag, and then bury it in the ground for a while, and it ferments, and then there you go.
They're
I think
also
that's still illegal, though.
and
That's
they're also
illegal?
they're breathing in roach motels in prison as well.
Yeah, that's right. Sheriff Grady Judd.
I know it's illegal at jail. I don't know about your house. If you want to make your own fermented booze at your house, can you? That's a good question.
I think it's all about that selling.
It says that it is not legal to make moonshine at home or without a distillery license.
Okay, so there you go. Just having I think if you just have the equipment in your yard, the cops can come bust you. Because that was a big thing in Mississippi where I got my moonshine from. They were like, oh, we got to hide the still. Got to hide it under the tarp.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It wouldn't matter if you're selling it or not. You could be someone that's, I'm making my own cocaine, but I'm not selling it. You're still going to jail, buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
There are some states that allow home distilling. Florida's not one of them.
Oh.
The home state of Ohio, you could do it. Michigan, Missouri, they allow it. Arizona, Massachusetts.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess you just state by state, you have to look and see what they do allow.
You can make your own sugar tits, Kev.
Yeah, moonshine really is just a homemade unaged whiskey. How about that? Yeah. That's really what it breaks down to.
The people that I got mine from in Mississippi, they would add like watermelon juice to it, and it tasted good.
Yeah. No, you really can. You can make some really good stuff. All right, well, here we go. A little moonshine and fish juice to start things off here today.
Chug, go. It's rough, isn't it?
It's so rough.
I forgot how rough
We know how
yeah.
rough it is because we rode that fish.
Yeah, that is not a fun punishment.
Kevin, you okay?
Yeah, I'm just really nauseous.
You've had to chug a lot of shit in the last week or two.
Been rough, man.
And we're in charge of this.
What did you have to chug? You had to do hot sauce yesterday.
Every day it's a punishment.
You had a fucked week.
Every day. Every day. God, that's awful.
And we keep coming back for more.
It's in our contract. We have to be dicks.
And psychopaths.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's the fish juice.
Yeah,
is.
it's the fish.
Well, it's the fish juice and then the heat of the moonshine settling.
That's a terrible combination.
It permeates it into your
Love it.
lining of your neck.
You know what, though, in about 6 mins, you're going to be, woohoo, ow.
You're going to want to do a singing bit.
Oh, my gosh. We are so happy for that.
Ooh, wow, the aftertaste of the fish. That's terrible. Yeah. All right, well, there you go. Don't say I didn't do it.
You did it.
Did it.
Good job.
Champ.
I think I'm all even on all my debts. Oh, okay.
They will keep you honest around here.
Let's get through all the emails here. I had to weed through a lot of complaints today.
What do we do?
Oh, just you name it. Yeah. It's so intriguing to me because, look, I mean, I know we say things that are offensive. That's kind of the whole point of the show. But it's the people have been around for, I mean, I think it's just if you listen to this show long enough, we probably are going to say something at some point that's going to offend you a little bit.
Even if you might like the person on the show, no one goes 100 or 1,000 out of someone's going to say some shit you don't like, and they may not even mean it. And then there's sometimes, too, you got to keep it moving, and you've said something stupid.
Yeah.
But by addressing it and then trying to bring it up, it's only going to slow the show down and not make sense.
Yeah.
So you almost have to take it in the face a little bit.
But then, they always then end the email with the do better. That's the big line.
Oh, I love that line. It's
Do
good.
better, Kevin.
But the way I read that, if we did start listening and did better, this show would be so fucking boring. Like, we could take away all that edge and all those little comments that, kind of ruffle your feathers or get you a little upset, but I don't think you would like it. You ask for it and you tell us to do better, and thankfully we haven't. We've probably actually gotten worse.
Done worse.
Yeah, so you can save that line because it never impacts me in a way that I'm going to follow that instruction.
No, it actually kind of makes me want to do worse.
It does. It does. In fact, yeah, the thing that was complained about and they said do better, I'm like, I think I'm going to work that in again.
Well, the person who says do better, I would love to go ahead and look in their little closet and look at their life and see what they could also be doing better as well.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you're perfect.
Exactly.
I'm glad you're perfect. But I got to tell you, honestly, on this show, doing better means taking away anything with any kind of edge or grit or something that might ruffle your feathers. And like I said, you really don't want that. I know you're telling us to do better and you think that's what you want, but you don't want that.
Who's it about? Who said it?
Oh, well, I mean, there were a few, and I saw the line. I mean, there was a couple different things, I mean, one, I had made a crack about, earlier today, and they're like, highly offensive.
What crack?
Do better. I had made a reference to El Salvadorian prisons. And I get it. That's a sensitive thing. We were doing the citizenship test, and it's a gritty comment. I get it.
But you were saying something funny and saying you should send me there
because
for not knowing.
Right. It's a biting, and I know it's a sensitive issue. I do get all that. I do. But, that's how we talk, and that's the style of comedy of this show. And if that's too much, I would just tell anybody that I would spare yourself the pain of listening, and I would just probably go somewhere else that's a safer space.
Absolutely.
KVJ is not created to be a safe space.
When it comes to you listening to content, you yourself could do better.
You're right, you could.
You've made a bad choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it around on that.
This ain't for
Right.
you. In fact, we're breaking up with you.
Yeah, it's kind of what KVJ does, and it's just, so I get it. I understand. And look, I'm sure if I listened back to the show, I'd be going, oh, man, that kind of hits my sensitivities.
When you said it, I giggled because I knew it was insensitive.
It was very insensitive, and I knew it when I said it. And look, that's just, we intentionally a lot of times say very insensitive stuff. And a lot of times, if you don't know, if you're new to this, I don't know what it is, but I've always grown up with kind of a sick, twisted sense of humor that is a little dark. And so things that are serious that we have feelings about, typically the way I deal with it is by making a joke of it, whether it be death or something along those lines. I create humor out of it. I know it's a very dark, serious situation. So what does Kev do? I make comedy out of it.
Somebody got on me about how me and you make jokes about our moms dying, and they go, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Sorry, motherfucker. I love my mom, and any joke I bring up is not going to bring her back. That's how I deal with the loss of my mom.
Yeah.
It's dark, and I get that, but some people do enjoy that kind of stuff. That's how I deal with dark shit.
It is.
I kind of have to laugh at it, because if I fucking cry about it in the dark, that's not going to be good for anybody.
It's a coping mechanism.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you
But
hear
if
me,
you do cry about it in the dark, will you video that? Because that might do well on social.
Nah, not enough people think I'm a fucking head case as it is. We don't need any more evidence.
yeah. So, just to kind of throw that out there, that there's nothing that's going to change. Because if we stop doing that, then it's not truly KVJ, and then we just need to pack it up.
Then it's boring.
Yeah, and that's not what this show was created to be. So it's going to have its rough edges, and you're going to have things that are going to offend you, and you'll want to write a do better email, but just know that I ignore it.
And then I want to do worse.
I kind of like when you don't ignore it, because, ladies and gentlemen, Dickie Rants, everybody.
Yeah, well, I wanted to address it because, I get it. I understand. It was a very aggressive, insensitive comment that was meant for humor, and that's all it was. So I don't truly want anyone to have bad feelings or feel awful and things, but things that are very dark and hard to deal with in life, I typically make a joke out of.
And whether you think we're funny or not, we are trying, and we're making an attempt a lot of times to be funny.
Yeah.
And there are times where you're about to say something, you really never know what's going to be funny. You're taking a chance. You try to hedge your bet going, this is probably going to be funny.
That's how it goes.
There's times where, holy shit, you say something and go, oh, Virginia and Kevin's looking at me kind of weird. No one's laughing. Move along.
That's the way it goes. You throw stuff out. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you massively offend people. Other times you're boring. And honestly, if I had to choose, would you rather be boring or offensive? Unfortunately, KVJ is we're going to lean on the side of being slightly offensive over being boring. That's what we at least attempt to be.
And when they start coming for you, I mean, we've got Queen Offensive over here.
Oh, I know. That's why, and sometimes I feel like I lag behind, and I start to feel a little self-conscious when I haven't got enough complaints. So in a sense, I feel better because I'm like going, okay, I'm not too milquetoast yet.
Got one.
I got one. So actually, to me, what you wound up doing was actually encouraged me, because I'm like, okay, it kind of feels good. I'm like, I need some more of these.
Well, you're keeping pace with the front runner.
It's hard to keep up with you guys. It really is.
Do better is one of those terms on the internet that caught fire, and it pretty much, if you write do better, automatically you're just a better person than the person you're talking to.
It tells me a lot about you.
It does.
It tells me everything I need to know about your personality.
Yeah.
So, just know we're judging you the same you're judging us.
You might get more do better emails after this do better conversation.
I hope so. Like I said, it actually is kind of validation for me. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm not too far behind those guys now.
Man,
I know I got to be the guy that keeps everything reined in, but I can't get too boring.
I am such a fan of Dickie Rants.
Yeah, can't get too boring around here.
Do butter.
I mean, do butter is our motto.
It is.
Well, we were talking sauces today. Butter sauces did come up. Is the ultimate best butter sauce Papa John's? Is that fair to say, Bird?
Say it one more time. I'm still thinking about do butter.
The ultimate best, well, we are on butter. The ultimate best butter sauce is the one you're going to get from Papa John's, the garlic butter.
I love their butter sauce. I just had some the other night. I hadn't had Papa John's in the longest time. It was one of those situations where I showed up at someone's house and it was just there. And the star of that pizza is definitely their garlic butter.
It's certainly not the pizza.
But they're hit or miss.
They're miss or miss worse. I do not get down with no Papa John's dry ass boring pizza. You need that butter sauce to make it edible. Fight me.
Oh wow, that's an interesting comment.
I don't want to fight.
Nasty ass pizza.
Yeah.
Undercooked looking shit pie. That's what it is.
Goes completely against the motto, the power of pizza.
That-
Bringing the people together. See, I knew one of my colleagues was gonna go rogue. What's your fucking name, Princess?
Pepperoni Princess.
Pepperoni. Of course, she's a princess.
People are saying that Papa John's has changed their butter sauce too.
You know what? There's two different kinds. There's one that looks like a lobster sauce. It's very clear looking, like a butter. And then there's this thick, almost kind of like a mayonnaise type. And they are both different, and you never know which one you're going to get.
Do they give you? So
Yes.
it's random. You don't
It
know.
is
It's by
random.
chance, and they're not named something different. They're supposed to be of the same.
Is one of them just older?
You know what? I feel like I'm speaking out of turn because I don't know the answer to that. But there is definitely one that's like a lobster sauce, if you shall, and then a very thick buttery one, and they do taste different. And they're both under the umbrella of garlic butter.
Yeah, and just looking at the comments, it is kind of crazy that Papa John's is on that list of places that are trending down. Like I said, you're either trending up or you're trending down. Some hold, I guess, but for the most part, those are the three categories of restaurants. And we went over this a week or two ago on the show, and it was just based on sales. But Papa John's had come up in that, along with Olive Garden lost money over the last year. Texas Roadhouse is your shining star. That was number one now. That's what's doing great. Olive Garden was still number two and kind of holding, but they had lost money over the last year.
So, two things. I think Virginia is right. Papa John's pizza was pretty shitty. It was not very good. And I think when it comes to Olive Garden, the reason why they still have shine, they've got that gimmick of the bottomless salad and garlic breadsticks, and there's a type of person that's very appealing to.
They want a deal.
They do.
They want to overeat.
Yeah. Guilty and guilty. I don't do the
America.
breadsticks, but yeah, if I were throwing, I think their salad is great.
I do
love
too.
the dressing. I think that salad's fantastic. Those breadsticks. And somebody even said, too, that they're different. They don't hit the same way, that they used to have more of a garlicky punch. And it's lacking that. It's more bready than it is flavorful now.
Probably because the bready is changing and cheaper to manufacture than using real garlic that makes it
The
punch.
first time I got Olive Garden breadsticks, I couldn't believe it. A buddy of mine took me, and it was, like I said, it was considered fancy. And so I was treated to an Olive Garden meal. This is back when I lived in Ohio, southeastern Ohio. And
What's that? That's delicious.
I couldn't believe they kept giving me
it's a
free
garlic
breadsticks.
stick? What the
They're
shit?
giving me as many as I want.
That's exactly how I talked. But I bet.
Oh, Country Mouse went to the city.
You're right, Country Mouse. I did. We had to drive about 25 minutes away to another town to get the Olive Garden. They had just gotten it. And I remember those breadsticks almost melting in my mouth. And
It's not the same.
It's
You're
not.
right. And now they seem a little bit more rock hard. They didn't have that.
They changed their recipe just like everybody else to manufacture them and make them cheaper for the person making them, but the price, meanwhile, goes up and up and up.
You brought up that topic the other day, and I said I still like the garlic breadsticks, and I do, but then I went home with that and really contemplated my thoughts and said, Bird, you're dipping it in the Alfredo dressing. You're dipping it along with the salad dressing. You're not judging it fairly.
Okay.
And yeah, the garlic breadstick has lost its punch when it's on its own.
right,
It
right.
has.
Yeah.
It used to be great on its own.
Yes, and it's
you
not.
didn't need to dip it.
And it
Yeah.
took me a day to really kind of come to grips with that.
Be mad.
Well, I got to be honest.
We should be mad that they've changed all of our food ingredients and added all these chemicals to them so that profits could be up and taste could be down. And we're still scarfing it down like a bunch of sheep.
Nate's a little drastic in his comment, but he's not far off. He said it should be illegal to change a recipe after it's been established. And
Yes.
yeah,
You rope people in, you get them all excited about something, and then you change the formula of how you make it to put chemicals and bullshit in it that we don't know what these things cause as far as illness and sickness.
Well, we're starting in our conversation this week to put together a list of restaurants. You talk about TV shows, and the whole thing was always jump the shark, right? When you did something that the show is never the same. We're finding out restaurants are doing that, and we found out about Outback this last week, and we talked about other ones that they changed up what they were doing, the made from scratch sauces that they had done to do something that was more mass produced and manufactured and more hit or miss. And they started missing. And when you get a miss at a restaurant and you just spent $75 to $150 and you said this wasn't it, then you're not going back. And
You're right.
That's just where it is. And so with these restaurants, you may say, yeah, we don't think we can afford to do this. But look, I'm telling you, the second and maybe you're trying to buy a couple years and maybe you think people won't notice as much, but they do.
They do.
And you've planted the flag, you've jumped the shark, and now you're trending down and you're on your way out.
This is a news story I want to sink my teeth in, pun intended. I want to find out all the facts, and you will have a full report. I would love to get into this. I'd love it.
Well, it is interesting to track of places that changed a recipe of their most popular item, whether it be Papa John's, Olive Garden, Outback Steakhouse, and then kind of put a correlation. I'm sure the companies do it. They map it out, how sales go in correlation with the change in recipe. But I would imagine if you graphed it out, it's going to go way down. I would imagine it follows right at that point, and that's why I'm questioning why restaurants would ever consider changing that.
To save money because somebody in a boardroom thought it'd be a great idea, and it's trickery on the consumer. It's deceptive, it's not right, and we need to stand up and say, you know what? F you. I'm going to go to mom and pop restaurants then where they make their own sauce and they don't do bullshit like that. That's why your Olive Gardens and your Outback Steakhouses aren't as popular as they were back in the day because people are pissed.
Do either one of you have an establishment that you'd like me to go and do a deep dive? Just go and give me the list, and I will start asking the right questions to the right people.
TGI Fridays, I like to find out what happened to them. I mean, they were a complete Ralston favorite with my wife and I forever.
All right. Anything
that changed?
Anything specific you would like me to find out that you noticed that you didn't like?
Here's the residual shot. I think that they might have changed something in the kitchen, but we weren't eaters, we were drinkers. And for a drinker, when you change a recipe in the kitchen, it can affect the quality all throughout the whole thing that even affects the damn bar. And I don't know what it was, but, we used to always go to the one that used to be where the country bar is now on Village Boulevard in West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
That used to be a TGI Fridays. We were at that bar 3 days a week sitting there and used to get those frozen margaritas that were so fantastic. And then they must have changed something on the menu because they went downhill and people stopped showing up.
Quality control questions are understood. Virginia, what do you got that you would like to do a deep dive about something that you think's changed?
I think all of them, all the chains
you can
have changed their formulas.
Look at Red Lobster. What happened to them? I'm curious. Did they make changes? Because there are places that, once upon... And look, there is nothing harder than sustaining success in a restaurant. It really, I hats off if you've done it for a while. And you know what? People are saying Flanagan's hasn't changed, and they have not. They've been, I've been here 26 years, and I just...
Good for them.
I don't have a bet. Flanagan's is always consistent. And that's what you want. You just want consistency.
So I've got TJ Fridays and Red Lobster. Great choices, Kevin. Virginia said everything. Terrible answer.
I don't really eat at those kind of places anymore, so.
And I know this isn't slimming, but I have got a slight addiction to the garlic Parmesan sauce on the wings at Publix, and this is not going to help out my waistline. Brandon said you can actually buy it by the bag.
What?
When you go to Publix, you can get a partial, half, quarter bag. I would sit and it sounds, I would pour a cup of it, a warm cup of this garlic Parmesan sauce, and I just sit there on my back patio and drink it. I mean, I I would put on 50 pounds in 30 days.
I'd like to see you just drink 1 cup.
I would too.
Make one video, 1 cup.
I think I could do it because I just sit there and it's just.
Warm it up in the microwave, put it in a mug, and go to town.
Do you ever have that where there's still some sauce left in the container? You say the one, and you're running your finger all around.
Yes.
I've never done that.
Lap it all up. Yeah.
I mean, I was raised that way.
And I know I'm eating. I'm like going, dude, this has got to be one of the least slimming things you're doing right now.
That's what
but it's so freaking good.
Those Ritz crackers, the ones that have like the little cheese that you dip it in. I'm doing this. I'm trying to get every little piece
bit.
to your trying to lick it.
You know something's good if you do go in and you lick the container. I said in my commercial day for the Ideal Nutrition, they have got a spicy mustard that they put in their pepper steak. Just licking the heck out of the thing. I don't care. I do it in public. I do it. I don't care.
Show us that lesbian lick again.
Look at that.
Oh, yes, Kevin.
Now we know how the Kevin Ralston eats it.
Now you know.
You're just using me for sexual gratification now, and I'm not going to stand for it.
We have to slow that down.
Yeah.
Denny's.
We can make that clip 30 seconds long.
Denny's, you got to slow that down. You got to set that to music. Oh, he's giving you more, Denny's.
That quick lizard tongue. And Brandon also said Arby's Red Ranch from the Beef and Cheddar.
I used to love the beef and cheddar.
Yeah,
I used to love Arby's.
Did that sandwich trend down? What happened with that? Or did we lose love? What changed? Did we change or the beef and cheddar change?
Arby's just started to kind of gross me out after a while because there'd be times where I'd open up the sandwich to put on some of the sauce and I would see holograms on it. And holograms and roast beef don't jive with me. It grosses me out. Subway was very guilty of that as well. You'd try to buy a roast beef sub and it looked like they'd have a hologram on the roast beef. You know what I'm talking, like a sheen,
I do.
a shine.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I didn't ask for a hologram sub.
It looks weird.
I don't like it.
It's probably chemicals.
Yeah.
I mean, ugh.
Elena said, any sauce from Mr. B's in West Palm, especially the Grandma Hans sauce.
Mr. B's?
I think I've heard of it, but I'm not, it's not clicking. It's not clicking.
I'll try it though.
Yeah, we'll try anything.
I will say there are some local sauces here, and the more local, holy shit, does that price go up?
Yeah.
It seems like it does. I don't know if there's a reason for that because they have to spend more to get into the store. Mm-hmm. But there's some really good local sauces out there that I think a lot of people don't try because of the price point.
Oh, okay.
No one's gonna buy. I mean, the $9 sauce is a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot.
No, it is. No doubt about it. Yeah, the Mr. B's. Yeah, I got to go check that place out. That's one place I have not yet been. It's on my list. It's kind of a little off the path bar in West Palm Beach. Do you know where Dixie Grill and Bar is?
Yeah,
Dixie Highway.
Love that.
It's kind of on a back road, which is Georgia Avenue. It's back there, and you don't see it. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's not on the main road. I'll go check that out one of these days. Always looking for something new and fun to check out.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift being in Boca, and I think I got confirmation that they know where they're staying too, Virginia.
You do?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's here in South Florida working out, and she tagged along. And I'd seen a photo of him on social media with a kid that is kind of on our radar because he's, we kind of know all the football players that, kind of in the area. And I was like, oh, that's that kid. And he's with Travis Kelce. I'm like, how badass is that? If you're a high school kid in South Florida and you get to work out with Travis Kelce, and it's a park where my son goes often in Boca.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So they're in the area. So if you see them, let us know where. Try to snap a stealth photo and don't be an asshole and mess with them. But that'd be kind of cool.
Don't run them out of town before the queen gets to go stalk for them.
That's right. We're stalking them on Saturday. We're doing our own stalking.
Are they going to be gone by then?
Don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't think they stay probably past this weekend. And part of it is too, like it's out.
Right. When word gets out,
Yeah.
you got to keep moving, baby, like a shark.
Can you imagine being at that level of fame where you always got to stick and move just because?
Well, the first couple days are great, but then when the word gets out, and then people like us are showing up,
then I know where they're staying. Yeah.
What would you do if you did see Taylor Swift out there and she's walking, but she's kind of walking near you? She goes, "Hold on, guys, hold on. Hey, Kevin Ralston, I just caught your show. I'm a really big fan of it. Can I get a selfie with you?"
I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it.
You think it's what you're getting punked?
Yeah, I'm getting punked. I thought maybe somebody slipped me a shroom or I was hallucinating. I'd be like, that's not. This isn't
real.
happening. Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah. This isn't happening. Now, this is an interesting thought we had on KVJ Court today. The PE teacher, instead of actually doing something of physical activity, is teaching the kids how to play poker, and they're playing with snacks and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was harmless, but Christopher said clearly this PE teacher is grooming these kids for his pleasure. It could go further. Teachers are role models and shouldn't get this close.
Oh, they think it's going to lead to strip poker?
Yeah, I don't know that I see that,
Look, if it does, hopefully you have a dialogue with your kid to where you know what's going on. And you let your kid know, okay, poker with snacks, yeah, it's a bad thing. The administration would probably look down on it. But I'm not going to rat your teacher out. You're not going to rat your teacher out. But you got to stay in touch with me on this. You got to let me know what's going on in these poker games just so I can do my job, which is to protect you.
It's the fucking PE teacher gambling with junk food. I mean, that's There's no way. The principal.
It's a leap.
They're not going to like it, though.
They're not going to like it.
He would get in major trouble for doing that.
I would argue. I honestly would say, and there's because my family loves cards, play a lot of games. There's one game we play called 21, and it has to do actually with kind of doing math. That you could argue that you could use card games to teach math and actually expand kids' minds. And honestly, man, cards, you can get sucked into that, and I can see why they play it in prison because you can kill time quickly, and they're like, gosh, I had a good time. Cards is a very underrated activity.
You better be careful when you play for prison, though, because you might have to give up that ass.
You're right. Yeah,
You're playing for.
Now, if the PE teacher's doing that,
you're playing for your brown round.
I win this round. Yeah, I get your brown round. Then now you've completed the leap.
We should say something.
But that's kind of a leap to go from we're gonna play for a Cheez-It to now I'm playing for your butthole.
Okay, kids, prison rules.
That's that to me just feels like we're taking a leap.
I'm just saying, if you're playing poker in prison, it's a different kind of game.
I could, but golly, that's a fucking leap, man.
I think there's probably still poker games in prison that aren't for the butthole.
I'm sure there's plenty, but I'm also sure.
I would hope at least in high schools there are games where you can play for not putting the brown round on the line. Yeah, you're right. Now, if you do that, clearly, we've got a problem.
You've played a lot of poker. Have you ever played for ass?
It's not poker.
I've never played.
I've
never put my brown round on the line.
All right.
That is good.
Yeah.
We had to ask.
But, you never know. This whole kind of thing. Look, I grew up, and we had, in my school, there was a predator that was around. And oddly enough, it was a really good varsity basketball coach that was filming players in the locker with a video camera. He got busted at our school, and he had taken us to like the state finals and stuff like that. So, he
was a baller.
He was, yeah. And it's kind of interesting, if he sucked, it would have run him out of town quickly. But because he's kind of a good coach, like, well, I mean,
He did take us to States.
Yeah, he did take us to States. And all right, so he has all of our boys naked in the shower. But,
he likes that brown round too much.
It's a terrible thing. And so our school had fired him. He went to another school, brought them to prominence, and then did the same thing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, oh, boy is right.
That's when you got to lock that guy up. Like the first time he could yell, I was falsely accused. But the second time,
it became more suspicious.
And I kind of feel like, especially when you're talking about recreation coaches, the vetting system was nothing back when we were kids. They would let anybody be a coach of youth athletics.
Well, I don't think that you expected it as much. And now, honestly, it's pretty obvious that predators want to be around kids.
Right.
And so they are applying for a lot of these jobs. And now I imagine if you are an educator, you understand that predators are going to be doing their best face forward to try to get this job to be around kids because they just have that sick desire to do gross things with them.
It's so creepy. All of those, where they tried to lure the predators online. So many of them, they find out. So what do you do for a living? Well, I teach or I coach kids. What age? 13, 14, the same age that they're there to meet. So that just shows you right there.
Yeah. And I don't know how much of these new vigilante predator hunters you have, and it's very prevalent in South Florida. There's I think there's even a 561 starts off the predator hunters. I've seen them all over the news. I've seen them on social media. In fact, at one of my son Cannon's previous schools, there was a guy that was there that got busted in one of those scams, and he was trying to say, "No, I was here to meet somebody else," and it's there. And you had even said, Jaybird, that somebody you had met, you don't know, but you met him, got busted in one of these child predator stings here.
I was wondering when somebody or of would show up, and it was actually in a different state that he got busted for, but it was some dude that I met a long time ago through somebody else at a party one time, and they said, "Remember that one dude?" I kind of didn't remember him, and they showed me the video. I go, "Oh, I do remember him. He was there to meet a 15-year-old girl."
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
And he worked with kids.
Dang.
Wow. Yeah, so it's a tough thing. I would imagine if you're an educator, you're a principal, and you're the one in charge of hiring, that's got to be a tough thing because, look, I would feel pretty bad if I opened the door to a predator and there were victims on top of it going, my vetting was not good enough. I've got to hire better.
Well,
right.
But I don't know how you would know. I mean, that's a tough thing if they've never been busted before and it's never been called out. How would you know? Seriously.
And I know there's some people that try to defend the predators going, well, this isn't done the right way. Look, these dudes they know the kid is 14 years old. They even say, is this the law? The whole thing's on the chat. And then they're supposed to meet the kid in aisle 13 at Walmart. Then they go to aisle 13 in Walmart.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know to show me
Exactly.
you're not fucking around. You're there to mess with a child.
Yeah.
And they try, if you're more experienced, especially like the Chris Hansen ones, they always try to get you to bring something specific. So if you wanted an orange Fanta, and the guy shows up with the orange Fanta, it shows that he really had this intent. He's going through. So you showed up with the orange Fanta, and that part's real. Why are you lying about this other stuff? You're here in aisle 13 at Walmart.
He's a dirtbag.
He's a dirtbag.
The story I'd seen kind of bringing out the problems with some of these vigilantes is, keep in mind, they're filming. And so they get somebody in aisle 13. That's all good. But a lot of these people be like, you got nothing. And then they take off, be like, what are you? You're just a person with a phone. Like, I'm not standing here like, what? You want me to wait for no, fuck off. And they take off. And then what happens, the person filming now then chases them. Some of them have tackled them. There was one person who wound up with a broken ankle.
Oh. One got shot.
Things like that. Yeah,
Someone got shot.
And that's where they're just saying, there's nothing you can do other than you film them in aisle 13. That's where your job ends. You can't do anything else. If they take off running, you can't tackle them. You don't have that authority to do that kind of stuff.
In every city,
you're not a freaking cop.
Every town, it seems like, just from what I understand, every place is different. So one town may love the fact that the guy can get arrested, and then in another precinct or another area, they're going to go, we can't do anything about it. But they always say, at least we're publicly shaming these monsters at minimum, and then they get all the clicks and the views.
I get it. And, the only problem with that, keep in mind, it's not a court of law. And we can't use social media as a courtroom to ruin someone's reputation. They need a fair trial where all the evidence is presented the way it should be. And your jury is not a bunch of people leaving comments that convict you. And that's where the problem is. I am so happy to get predators off the street, but that's kind of it. Big Prince of Peace said, in some cases, these people do that. They wind up ruining the case because of their behavior, and then you throw it out, and then this pedo walks. And then they now know, okay, there's a spotlight on me, and then they do it more stealth.
The ones I really have an issue with is they'll do this, and they know what they're doing because it's better content for their channel. They'll find the predator, and then they make the predator on speaker call their wife, and you just hear this poor woman, destroyed, crying, and now she's ruined.
It's not her
and
fault.
She didn't have anything. She knew nothing about it.
I don't like that level. But
I mean, that's rough.
Look, it keeps you watching. You still watch, but it's not fair to that other person. I agree. And so
that's heavy.
It is.
Well, then every comment goes, "Oh, you knew the wife knew about this," and that's not necessarily true. You don't know that.
I would hate to say that. Because I think some of these people do a really good job of covering up their. You talk about the BTK guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
His family, a daughter, all that stuff. They said we had no idea, and this guy's murdering people and doing weird stuff, and he covered that for how many years?
Many years.
So many.
And you're right. There are serial killers out there that knew how to turn off the dark side. They just knew how to do it. Now there's some people that are dumb serial killers.
Well, yeah, but it's almost the people that are. Sometimes you get a really smart, diabolical person, and when you combine that, then that's when you get a BTK type of person.
Yes, or
horrifying.
a Ted Bundy. I mean, I know they all got caught in stupid ways, but their reign went on for quite a long time.
Yeah, it did.
And they get arrogant too. Ted Bundy was quoted saying, "The first time you do it, you are checking every little thing, every detail, and by the 30th time, it's kind of like changing a tire. Where did I leave the spare whatever, the lug nut?"
Yeah.
You get arrogant and you slip, and that's what happens to a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy a lot of these little sites are getting some of the pedos off, but in some cases, they're going too far, and they are kind of more of a problem than they are a hero.
I don't like when they call the wife. I think that's fucked up.
I do too, and they're doing it just to keep people watching, but I don't like it for that reason. Jim in Palm City said he ran into Panda at the Florida Odyssey of the Mind tournament in Orlando this past weekend. I'm sure he was not expecting to have somebody identify him. But even though Rocco's team did not win, I hope he stays encouraged and does it again next year. He said it's a wonderful activity for talented and creative students, and I have great memories from my 5 years doing it growing up.
Yeah, so they won the local, and then they went to the state, and that was the one in Orlando. And they didn't win the one in Orlando, but I think they did really good. It was their first time ever doing it. All these kids had never done Odyssey before. So
he had fun.
He had a great time. He loved it.
And Virginia, I want to see if she can explain exactly what Rocco's team had to do for their skit. I don't know. It's what it says. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, they had like a taco truck that they made, and they had to do they had to create a background, and they had to create a whole skit and a play with music and acting and robotics. They had a robotic dog that did tricks, and they worked him into the skit with the songs and the acting and everything. The tricky part is making all of that work together, and no adults can help them. And they also have a very, very limited budget, so they have to make all of their own costumes and scenery and props and everything. So
I love it.
It's a little tricky, and it makes them get creative. If you just hand a kid $200 and say, "Here, go buy all the props you need," it's not the same as asking them to create everything from stuff they've got either laying around the house or something they buy at Goodwill.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really cute. It's adorable.
Yep. And Cynthia, KVJ Lifer, said, Kevin, wow, your daughter Caitlin looks amazing. I mean, she's always been a badass with incredible style and totally owns it. I've been a listener for 20 plus years, but she looks incredible. I was going to comment on Instagram, but she has her comments turned off, which tells me she is as smart as she is beautiful. Full golf clap for Caitlin. Yeah, my daughter's big time into the health fitness stuff. She just ran a half marathon on Singer Island a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And,
Good for her, man.
yeah, she's in a really good place right now, doing amazing things. Very proud of her. And so, yeah, she's doing fantastic. So I think her social media, she's had to calm it down. She has a job where you can't do too much social media stuff. So
How long do you know how long it took her to kind of train for that to where she felt confident to run it?
I think it was about 2 months that she got into it. And yeah, you do a half, 13 miles basically is what you're doing.
And
13.1.
You were training to how was your training like?
I did the same thing, half marathon. I trained for a lot longer than 2 months, though. I feel like I trained for like 6 months.
Would you run every day or would you take breaks?
3 times a week. Three times a week,
And
yeah.
did you stop when you would run or did you run the whole thing?
You build up to it. And then, if you're at like 11 miles, you can do 13.
So you did it without stopping?
Yeah.
Is that the one you did shit your pants or no?
The first one I did shit my pants, yes. First one I did shit my pants a little bit. Like no one saw.
So did you
But
not
me?
know? Did you choose to shit yourself or did you have no choice to shit yourself?
No, it was like a shart, Kevin. It was like I just couldn't help it. I wasn't going to stop and go to the bathroom because I was looking at that time, yo.
You can't. You're a champion. At that point, you got to go full gorilla and say, I'm running with some poop, and that's the way it is.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was a little shart, but
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
so do you, Jaybird, want to make time or do you want to shit yourself? You only have one option.
I got to make time, homie. This is the way it is. I want to be a champion.
See, I guess I'm the odd one out. I'm going to go take a shit and then I'm gonna in my own mind pause the time and I'm gonna come back.
Well, I mean, her situation wasn't that bad. She said it wasn't like it was a.
it wasn't running down my leg or anything dramatic. You couldn't see it. I had on black shorts, and even if I didn't have black shorts, you couldn't have seen anything.
It wasn't like that one clip. Wasn't that long ago where the person had the camera on the woman? She's like, I'll just shit myself. You can take the camera away.
She did. That's right. That's why I'm just like, God, running is. I don't get it, man. God bless you guys that do it.
Well,
But wow, I don't get it.
isn't
I
there
don't
that-
get it.
Isn't it that one woman? She
Gosh,
wins the
it's so
whole
miserable.
marathon, and she's running.
Yes, she did.
and
He was
shitting
trying to
herself.
film her from behind. She's like, could you please film the front of me? I've just shit myself.
Well, you're pushing so hard. Push.
No.
When you push, sometimes things come flying out of you.
The heart of a champion leads to the heart of a champion.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my own activities. I never shit myself at the bar. Now, I've gone to the bar and I shit myself later, but I've never shit myself at the bar.
You
so I'm
have a
gonna stay
chance
there.
of being top 5 in the marathon. If you stop and go poop, you end up being in the top 50. What do?
I go take a shit in a proper place.
You're in top.
I don't care. It's not something that wires me, man. God bless. Look, I know we're all wired different. I'm not wired to shit my pants for time.
I wanted that time. I wanted to see that time and know that I did the best I could.
Yeah.
And stopping was just not in the cards.
I admire it.
I didn't stop to pee either.
Yeah, no, now you're just grossing me out.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's must have. Oh my gosh! As soon as you got off and stopped running, you must have just piss and shit yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to find out where our chat room is because there's two different kinds of people. Either you're the kind of person that goes to get the time or you're the kind of person that goes to properly take a dump. And I am on the side, I go properly take a dump. I'm not shitting myself for time.
I think our audience goes time. I think they go for time.
If you've been training for this thing for months and months and months, as I had, and everything was hyper-focused on your time, and you have it in your head that you want to do the best you can, a little shart is not going to slow me down.
And let's keep that in mind. It was a little short, not a full-on dump.
It wasn't full-on Denny's cat diarrhea.
It's enough, but I mean, if you couldn't then sit down and watch a movie afterwards,
That's your criteria.
it doesn't qualify.
Okay, it's the sit down, watch a movie criteria.
I just,
No one wants to sit in that and watch a movie.
No, you can't. You're an animal
you
at that
can't.
point.
So
Even
I'm
the
not gonna put myself
tiniest.
in that situation.
I don't care about time or no time.
I wouldn't be able to go to the movies. Hey, you want to go to a movie now, Kevin? I can't. I shit myself. I can't sit in this for 2 hours.
I'm quite curious to see where our audience lies on this one.
Okay, 42% are going to get the time. 59% properly take the dump.
Whoa!
Okay.
It's pretty close.
Half are psychopathic athletes like Jay Bird and myself, and if we put in the time, we are going to get the best time possible. And the other half are probably, more clean, reasonable.
The more you talk, the worse we lose this argument. It's up to 60-40 now. They're not going.
It's a 60-40 kind of issue, but it's amazing it's that close. Yeah, 60% of people properly, they don't go in their pants for just a freaking time that really you're going to forget in a month.
No, I will never forget how long it took me.
Or you never forget you shit your pants either. I mean, what memory's going to fade first? To me, I'll forget my time. I'll remember I always shit my pants.
He's got a good point right there.
Just saying. I'm just saying. That's my argument. All right. Appreciate y'all for being here. Apologize if we offended you. We'll try to do better. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.